watch this.
All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism or to our congregation, we want to get to know you and share a part of your journey. If this place is already your spiritual home, welcome back. We need one another, and it is good to be together again. We are so excited to be together in person again after almost 2 years of gathering only online during the coronavirus pandemic. Nevertheless, through the gifts of technology, we continue to celebrate community and connections with each other online also, as we lean into the values of justice, compassion, and reason. Together, we learn the love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service this morning. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all, and a welcome to those of you who are streaming with us online. What a nice day outside, not too hot yet, and we are lucky to have a familiar face with us today. Yes, Jordinn Nelson Long is going to be with us, and we are so glad she's here.
Good morning, y'all. It is truly such a delight to be with you this morning. And good morning to those of you online as well, which might include some of the people I belovedly serve in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. So glad for us to be able to journey together this morning. I come bearing exciting witness, which is that I got to speak with someone near and dear to you last night, the Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons. She sends her greetings. She asked me to share, this is a direct quote, "I am fine." And I can attest, she is in great humor. She sounds great. She continues to recover, but is very much her old self, is not pleased with the uncomfortable mattress and the plastic pillow, and is looking forward to being reunited with her cats and her home. They are hoping to be home this weekend. So she says, thank you so much for all of the support. Mark says thank you so much as well for all of the support. Keep the love coming. And also, I am editorializing a bit, but we are definitely talking with Anthony and talking with Mark last week. We want to head some things off at the pass a little bit, and I know we all understand this. They're going to need some space and some recovery time. So I know cards are very welcome. Feel free to continue reaching out to staff here, and let's really take a cue from the family in terms of what they are able to handle with loving outreach. But y'all have been wonderful. I don't think there is a better community for Kendall to be part of during her recovery. And I am just so reassured by the way that she sounded last night, and I think that you can be too. I know they're really excited to be back. May we settle in now with a comfortable breath. This poem is from the late Reverend Nancy Schaefer. She published a book of meditations. She is a poet in addition to a minister, a book of meditations while she was dying of brain cancer. That book was called While There Is Still Light. And this poem, Because We Spill Not Only Milk, is a reflection on what it means to find our way back again and again to relationships. So I invite you to settle in this spirit. Because we spill not only milk, knocking it over with an elbow when we reach to wipe a small face, but also spill seed on soil we thought was fertile, but isn't. And also spill whole lives and only later see in fading light how much is gone, and we hadn't intended it. Because we tear not only cloth, thinking to find a true edge and instead making only a hole, but also tear friendships when we grow, and whole mountainsides because we are so many. And we want to live right where the black oaks lived once, very quietly and still. Because we forget not only what we were doing in the kitchen and have to go back to the room we were in before, remember why it was we left, but also forget entire lexicons of joy and how we lost ourselves for hours, yet all that time were clearly found and held. And also forget the hungry not at our table, because we weep not only at jade plants caught in freeze and precious papers left in rain, but also at legs that no longer walk or never did, though from the outside they look like most others. And also weep at words said once as though they might be rearranged, but which once loose refuse to return. And we are helpless. Because we are imperfect and love so deeply, we will never have enough days. We need the gift of starting over, beginning again, just this constant good, this saving hope. Welcome to worship.
It's on. Good morning. My name is Sean, and I light this chalice for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
I'm Anthony Edwards, and I am your music director and director of worship arts, and it's my privilege to welcome Lanisa Robinson again to the stage, and we're going to learn verse 2 of Come Sing a Song With Me, and then we'll review verse 1 and get them both done. So if I could ask you to stand as you're willing and as you are able, and spread out, so you have some wingspan, so you're not smacking your neighbor unless you want to smack your neighbor. I know that joke never gets tired. So thank you, Lanisa, and we'll learn verse 2.
Good morning. If you were here with us last week, you know we covered a lot of territory with this song. For verse 2, we need to learn exactly one new sign. The sign is for the word dream. One finger, touch your forehead, wiggle it forward. Dream. That's it. We'll now review the chorus. I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. I'm going to step aside so you can see my hands a little better. And so for that last sign, find the facial expression is what kind of gives it that, it's hard to find that hope. And I'll bring a song of love. And a rose in the winter time. Sorry, I'm going to start again. Yeah, we'll sing it together enough times that it'll come together. And now for verse 1. Come sing a song with me. That I might know your mind. This is the hard sign. This is actually, we're signing the word now, N-O-W. And that's it.
Song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll sing a song and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
I didn't get up here fast enough. Please rise as you are as you are able, and join with me in affirming the words of our covenant. Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. It's now time for the children to retire to their classrooms, so let's sing them on their way.
Go now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessings of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads.
Good morning. My name is Anita Malott,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Koehler.
and we are here to tell you why we contribute to All Souls.
First, I want to tell you why I came to this church. Anita had asked me a number of times to try out All Souls. I was lukewarm at best to commit to attending any church. When I came to a service with her and opened the order of service, I saw that an agnostic AA group met at the church twice a week. I was thrilled. I'd been in AA for decades. I had never been to an agnostic atheist group. I started attending religiously twice a week. The people I met before and after my meetings impressed me. Marilyn Carpenter was the first person I met, and she was teaching yoga on the same nights I was there for AA. She was kind and engaging and especially welcoming to me. Some evenings I could smell wonderful aromas coming from Conover. That's when Demetas were having their dinner meetings. I see them in the hall and they'd say, oh, come in, have a bite with this. I said, I brought nothing. They said, you don't need to. They'd bring me a plate. And they were so welcoming, the same way that Marilyn was. After a few months, I was feeling more comfortable with the people I met in the hallways, and I told Anita I was ready to go to All Souls. When people asked me, what drew you to All Souls? I answer that I came in the back door through AA. As treasurer for 3 years, I was aware of the different organizations that we partnered with, such as Colamy, Carver School, and previously Restart, to name a few. All Souls provided a book club, a movie group, and much more. We had the opportunity to sing in the choir with our talented music director who enhances all of our services. The Hunger Outreach Program at All Souls makes sandwiches and soup 3 days a week and delivers them to the homeless community in parks around the area. Sunday Plus lunches are always a hit, especially now that we can do it in person. Last thing I want to talk about is, as a gay person, it was really nice to be welcomed by our congregation. That never happened in any other church that I had been in. Anita and I don't feel like we stand out as gay. We're treated like we're seen just as regular people. The gay is away from, it's just not a part of who we are. Currently, I am on the membership committee and enjoy being a greeter to people coming for Sunday services.
Well, as Julie attested, she told you why we came to All Souls, but I want to say a little bit about why we stay. We stay because we feel like the church lives up to its mission to build, to inspire, and to create. We build community in really many ways, small groups, through our Caring Connection classes, Dinner for 8, the Sacred Circle, that's to name a few, and then in larger ways through the church auction, the cook-off, and ice cream socials. We inspire personal growth through our sermons, readings, and spiritual odysseys. And one of the ways we create change is through our forum, which educates us on various topics that in our community and around the world. Our RE program provides a well-rounded foundation for our youth, enabling them to meet a diverse world.
Today's offering will go toward the general budget.
The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're people of mercy and people of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Will you recite after me the dedication of our offering?
We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society.
Good morning. Today's reading is I Wonder by Derek Tasker. I wonder what would happen if I treated everyone like I was in love with them, whether I like them or not, and whether they respond or not, and no matter what they say or do to me. And even if I see things in them which are ugly, twisted, petty, cruel, vain, deceitful, indifferent. Just accept all that and turn my attention to some small, weak, tender, hidden part and keep my eyes on that until it shines like a beam of light, like a bonfire I can warm my hands by, and trust it to burn away all the waste which is not and never was my business to meddle with.
The water is wide, I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. There is a ship, and she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not as deep as the love I'm in. I know not how to sink or swim. Oh, love is handsome, and love is fine. The sweetest flower when first it's new. But love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like summer dew. Build me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row, my love and I, and both shall row, my love and I.
Thank you. First, a reading from Genesis. There are, as we know, quite a number of interesting and sometimes even disturbing, confusing places we might wonder about passages in the biblical scriptures. This is one of them, and so I invite you to greet this passage in wondering with me, and we will talk about what this might mean in just a moment. This is from Genesis 15. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. And I will pause here and note this is Abraham, father of the Abrahamic traditions, religious forefather that Christianity shares with Islam and with Judaism. Before he gets named Abraham, his name is Abram. So the Lord comes to Abram in a vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward shall be very great." But Abram said, "O Lord God, what will you give me? For I continue childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus, who was a servant." And Abram said, "You have given me no offspring." But the word of the Lord came to him, "That man shall not be your heir. No one but your very own issue shall be your heir." He brought him outside and said, "Look toward heaven and count the stars, if you are able to count them." Then he said to him, "So shall your descendants be." And he believed the Lord, and the Lord reckoned it to him as righteousness. Then he said to him, "I am the Lord who brought you from Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to possess." But he said, "O Lord God, how am I to know that I shall possess it?" And he said to him, "Bring me a heifer 3 years old, a female goat 3 years old, a ram 3 years old, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Abram brought all these and cut them in two, laying each half over and against the other, but he did not cut the birds in two. And when birds of prey came down on the carcasses, Abram drove them away. As the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and a deep and terrifying darkness descended upon him. When the sun had gone down and it was dark, a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch passed between these pieces. And on that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, "To your descendants I give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates." Early this spring, I learned of a litter of kittens born in the state of Vermont, where our family now spends a lot of time. These kittens happened to be Maine Coon cats, a breed of kitten that our younger son had been specifically and unrelentingly pleading for more than a year. And these kittens didn't have a place to go. They needed owners, but only owners who would take good care of them, owners who could attest to the quality of life that would be provided for the kittens. We had to agree not to declaw them. We had to sign an agreement that we would spay or neuter our new kitten. And we had to provide a small rehoming rescue fee payable by app on a phone. We did these things, and you may have a sense of how this story is going to turn out. The day arrived for the rehoming of this beautiful orange and white tabby kitten, and suddenly, after the reassurance that just a few more pieces of paperwork needed to be completed, could you tell us just one more thing? Texts stopped being returned, and then immediately the number was disconnected. We had fallen for a Craigslist kitten scam. This is a story about being tricked. And I wonder, what lessons might we learn here? Perhaps I return to the internet as a more hardened citizen and give Craigslist a wider berth. Or perhaps it's that I have made progress on the journey to cynicism, that road that we must all travel in our actual and spiritual adulthood. The thing is, wise up is not a bad plan. It's definitely counsel and inoculation that we ministers are trying to commend unto each of you. As across these years, we remind you again and again that no minister in the history of ever has emailed congregants to request gift cards. But a hermeneutic of suspicion need not lead to our cynicism. And to engage one another with suspicion alone does not allow us to build anything together, which is a truth that humans in groups have known forever. And it is in this way that my hopefulness, while in the case of the kitten, it made me a chump, my hopefulness is adorable and, in fact, necessary, abiding as it does in this world, because our willingness to believe in one another is life-saving. and. Excess of credulity, as our reptilian brains so well know, is also life-threatening. And so we are constantly asked to decide, will we believe in each other? Not just will we believe each other, though this is part of it, but we're asked to determine what team we are on here. A deeper question is, are we cheering just for ourselves, or do we remain willing as adults to invest in we, knowing that subverting our individual wishes involves taking risks and sometimes means taking hits? And so, while the myth of individualist social theology would encourage you to ask how you can always and everywhere avoid being tricked, because the responsibility, after all, lies on you, we know that we are here for something more than this. We know in our stories, in our experiences, and in our bones that it is worth it, despite the risks, to be together. So the question is not will we choose to trust, but when, and who, and how. So many of our human ventures require us to consider this calculus and then to say yes to the something more that we become together. Business partnership, courtship, marriage, life and sexual partnership, friendship, membership, becoming a committed part of a group, supporting an institution. Also representative government, the social contract that we share as Americans. And also our contracts to buy and sell kittens, for example. My family is cringe laughing at ourselves at our Craigslist mistake, but underneath this, we all know this isn't funny. The stakes are so high as we decide where and how much to trust. Capitalism tells us daily that our survival depends on not trusting each other. But my witness, and probably yours too, is the opposite. We are saved and strengthened in our interdependence. And we know this as deeply human wisdom. To move forward, to settle into community, we have to trust each other. And so we've developed over generations, over millennia, we've developed some strategies and some shortcuts. Imagine how long it would take if in every example of exchange, if in every act of saying yes, of joining together, we as individual people had to begin wholly anew. Imagine if in each moment we each independently needed to suss out each other's trustworthiness before going forward with the next piece. That would be incredibly time-consuming. Humans have been wrestling with this for basically as long as we've been humaning together. And that's what we see in that weird reading this morning from Genesis, that violent-sounding thing that happens in this story before God and Abram can trust each other to talk. That ritual is a nod toward one way in ancient Hebrew culture that people made a sign, a shorthand of their mutual trustworthiness. It was called blood covenant. It's what's known as a self-imprecatory ritual. Those participating are saying, may what happened to these animals with their bodies cleaved and their blood soaking into the earth, may that befall me if I prove untrustworthy in this covenant. I'm glad we don't do blood covenant. I mess up a lot. I might have been cut in half long ago. But the thing is, thinking about it, I bet that blood covenant exists as a ritual, not because people long ago took their promises more seriously than we do, but because they were pretty exactly like us in terms of human relationship. Those people knew that they held their hearts and their hopes in their hands in their every dealing with one another. Like us, those people knew what it was to be betrayed. That is how you end up with that kind of physical promise. Those people knew what it was to love and to lose, to trust, and then to founder on the rocks. We have blood covenant as a historical ritual, not because those people promised differently, but because humans have risked loving just the same for a very long time. And blood on the soil did not save them, not from themselves, not from their promises. Spilling blood in this current era, our own or each other's, it will not save us from our vulnerable moments now either. To err is human, and heartbreak is what it has always been, one of the sacred wages of love. But no one likes being played for a fool. And if we cannot believe in this city, if we cannot believe in this community, if we cannot believe in our country, that it might be a win to work together because we have not experienced it changing things, or because we tried and we got burned and it hurts, we can find ourselves unwilling to take risks, the kind that let us make magic together. And let us acknowledge here also that trust is difficult, not only because others prove untrustworthy, but because sometimes we ourselves mess up. Or sometimes in partnership, we all mess up together because humaning is messy and we are all growing, but not in the same direction or at the same rate. Sometimes we set out to do a thing together and discover that the win-win we imagined, it might not exist. Divergent needs are real, and divergent risks, and divergent goals. In these moments, we must find the path with each other again with a renewed plan, but it is hard. When the ground beneath our partnerships is already shaky, even a simple misunderstanding can deepen distrust. This is clear right now in our national and regional politics, but I suspect that in each of our lives, these issues are mediated most presently and most poignantly at the scale of our individual lives. We work out social stress and large-scale lack of trust in our own close relationships. I thought about all of this recently, sending what might have been a simple email in the context of a relationship that feels like it should not be as hard as it is. It's a friendship where I think we both want to be able to truly trust each other, and nevertheless, and for a lot of very real reasons, trust is hard to come by. And it is so easily lost. This is a relationship in which a path to winning together is not abidingly clear. Real incentives exist for each of us to not entirely invest in each other's well-being. In this context, I have made some mistakes, and in this exchange, I was in the process of making a few more. In my heart, I deeply wanted to build relationship. In my feelings, in my ego, I was deeply aware that I was entertaining some threats to my sense of self. I'll pause just a moment so we can wonder together. Have you experienced lately the shifting sands of unstable relationship? What do you know about the place where it's possible for things to collapse into the quicksand of deep conflict, even when neither of you wants that? How do we do well by what we love in that space? What can guide us? This past spring, amid that dangerous thing that we sometimes do in the year 2022, the vaguely fraught email exchange, my friend chose we and pulled us both back onto a better track than I had been able to. After which, I sat in front of my computer so grateful for the gift of a chance to try again. And I stared at the screen, trying to decide what to say next. I caught a whisper in my own head, a reminder born of the earnest hopes that I carry. And that whisper said, "Do better, do better." And when I heard it, I had to laugh at myself, because that is an injunction without an instruction. But we say it to ourselves and to each other all the time, do better, as if anyone ever set out in the first place to do worse. Our self-righteousness, when confronted with the failures of others and our shame in meeting failure in ourselves, those seek to obscure this truth, but no one tries to do worse. I didn't. We don't. We want to trust, and we want to try for better even when we have been hurt. But sometimes, especially in moments of high stress, we truly don't know how. We need guides. And here at church, this is why your board has a multi-point, very clear covenant to guide it. A covenant that so impressed me that it is part of the backbone of my congregation's covenant of right relations. It says things like, look for ways to say yes. That covenant that your board has is an aspirational model. It emerged after a significant conflict, and it's rooted in how we might be. It's not rules, it's outcomes. It's a picture of what doing better could look like. It's helpful. And I want us to know in these difficult, prickly seasons that we also have other help. Because the truth is that sometimes even a beautiful vision that you truly believe in, it is not enough to guide us through conflict. Because sometimes you're mad and you have that blood-spilling urge. I get it. It's why we all had to be told, "Thou shalt not kill." Every human in the Abrahamic tradition from time immemorial has been given this reminder in bold letters. Sometimes we are really angry with each other. And in those moments, vision alone doesn't quite get us there. So we use the guides that we have, and then we also harness what we know about somatic practice. Somatic practice, have you heard these words? It's something that's being said more often. It's about grounding with your body, in your body, so that you are aware of where you are in time and space, and so that you can take control from your reptilian brain, the one that says you are constantly under threat, We might call it American-style capitalist brain. And you can access instead your creative brain. And so I'm going to lead you through a very quick somatic exercise. I invite you to find a hand, your hand, kind of wave it at me. Great. This is an activity that I learned from Dr. Mark Hicks, who has been the faith formation educator at Meadville Lombard, fabulous witness for our theological tradition. This is called I Am Here Now, and we are just going to say, touching each finger to our thumb, I am here now. Let's try that a few more times. I am here now. I am here now. This time, really think it. I am here now. A beautiful thing about this practice is you can do it underneath a table, you can do it in your pocket, you can do it way out front and lead people in a somatic practice ritual. That is also okay, but you can ground yourself truly in any moment you need to. And the touching of your body is not extra. It literally, we know this through science, provides an additional way for your body to ground stress. And we are all under an extreme amount of stress. There are a couple of other exhortations that are offered. I will offer them to you as well. Time and space can help us overcome those murderous urges. Have you discovered that? I think some of the worst advice that new couples are given upon embarking on a relationship, you know the one, don't go to bed angry, Phyllis Diller then added on, stay up and fight. Yeah. Here's a little secret. Having a relationship that you care about and allowing it time and space is a way of saying to yourself and to each other, I trust you enough to believe in tomorrow. Think about that. If we're willing to set something down and move away for a time, trusting that we're going to come back, you're saying, I trust you enough to believe in tomorrow. This may be one of the most powerful tools that we have going forward. And finally, a tool that we can use, one that I use with your own Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons. She's a beloved and wise mentor to me. Context and counsel, right? We can seek advice from those farther out from the situation who can give us a perspective that helps us to transcend what our body is telling us. And that doesn't mean we forsake the wisdom of our body. It means we allow it other additional inputs and then consider it all together. And through these practices, combined with covenant, relationship gets better. We use our new skills and we show up differently, and over time we get better results, which itself allows us to trust each other and trust process more. We are held in a web of care and limits, and where we move deftly within that web, more things become possible. The water is wide, and alone, it is true, we cannot get o'er. But together, in trust, is another story, and it is perhaps the most worthwhile project of our lives. Amen. Please rise now and join in singing this anthem to freedom, a song about being stuck but envisioning something better. I wish I knew how.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish wish I could say all the things I could say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that still keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free.
From one of my favorite UU theologians, the Reverend Dr. Kendall Gibbons, we close with these words that she spoke unto you in one of your first Sundays together. For the truth is that the people we end up trusting most profoundly in life are not those who have never hurt us, but rather those who have hurt us and who we have hurt, who we have found our way back to. Those we have learned to forgive and be forgiven by, those relationships we know we can mend because we've done it before and it works. May peace be with you.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of